boom, and boom, 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 boom. Hola! Oh, we are live. Welcome to Podcast 850,001. Again, here we are, episode 30,000,009. Wouldn't it be great if podcasts just stopped coming out just in time for R1 so that the numbers were actually accurate? Imagine if this was the literal 30,000,000th and 9th podcast episode to ever exist in the universe. Like, that would be, well, the universe is a bit of a stretch. Could you imagine what alien podcasts sound like? What would they talk about?
I think they'd talk about Piers Morgan. Honestly.
Oh, I think that would be too boring a topic for them to talk about. But for us, that's a very funny and exciting topic to talk about.
For those of you who are not in the UK, because I know Piers Morgan is a very UK.
Yeah.
I just knocked something off my desk because my desk.
He is the worst. He's just such a fucking clown, man. He is a clown on a national scale. Right?
Yeah. He's a bigot. He is a famous celebrity who speaks about controversial topics and is just generally a bit of a dickhead professionally.
Yeah.
And
professional
up
dickhead.
until a few days ago, he presented a show called Good Morning Britain.
I'm gonna get the video up on my stream because I know what you're about to segue into.
And Good Morning Britain is a talk show in the morning, and it's about news.
Well, yeah.
Fashion, advice and shit like that on, and it's just standard daytime TV. And yeah, he was brought on it a couple of years back because he's seen as controversial.
Yeah, like he gets people, like, you got to give it to the man. He gets people talking, right?
He definitely does. Yeah, he definitely.
Yeah,
does.
he gets people talking, like, because he's just such a cunt. Let me allow cunt through AutoMod because someone just called him a cunt in my chat, and I approve this message. Right, I'm gonna get my
someone said
camera.
Piers Morgan drives them mad in my chat, and that is the nicest way anybody has ever put it. Yeah, he just does it for the clout, basically.
Yeah, right, Casper, I'm gonna share my screen as well to you, just so we can react to this at about the same time. But I'm just gonna play this for my stream. So this guy, after he made some very disparaging comments about the whole Meghan Markle interview situation, and this guy right here that I've got my mouse over started calling him out on some of these comments and so being like, you know, because he got ghosted by Meghan Markle, which I think is just so funny. But this guy was calling him out and. He walks off and quits the show. He no longer works with this show, and this was his final scenes on that show. Let me play it. Let me play the video.
Here.
He just fucks off. He just fucks off, and it's just like, out of, like, he's made so many comments, right? He's made so many racist comments, so many sexist comments, so many disparaging comments about people's mental health and their actual real life struggles in their lives. And when someone's just like, hey, I know you've got a bit of a personal relationship with Meghan Markle and like your comments are being taken a bit too far in this sense, he just walks off and quits his own show. And I just thought, wow, how pathetic do you have to be? Because that is just so fucking dumb, man. Oh my
yeah,
god.
it's just ridiculous.
But I found it very funny. Yeah. It is. Like, how can you can't expect to sit there and criticize people for so many years and not get any kind of criticism back, especially about uh, uh, uh if you take something personally, because apparently he got ghosted by Meghan Markle, which I just thought was really funny.
Yeah, like
There's some articles on
nobody
there
actually
about
knows
it,
what happened between
but
Meghan Markle and Piers
we
Morgan.
do know.
But
We do know. He wrote an article about her a couple of years ago, I think. And the article started off with I was ghosted by Meghan Markle, and he goes into say how he messaged her, or he got a message on Twitter from her. They had a brief conversation, and then she stopped talking to him, because you would, wouldn't you? Like, if you were talking
yeah,
to Piers Morgan, you would stop talking to him because he's just such a twat. But anyway, yeah, I just thought it was really funny. He's left that show now, thank fuck, and he's gone. Meghan Markle herself was among the people who was writing to
among
ITV.
the 41,000 complaints to Ofcom that people got about Piers Morgan saying that Meghan Markle was lying about her suicidal thoughts.
He said a lot of things. He made one valid point, right? That because I did watch his comments about her. He did make one valid point of they didn't name the person that brought the racist remarks against Meghan Markle and her baby, and I disagree with everything Piers Morgan has said, don't get me wrong, but I do think that if you are going to bring up something about a group of people, say the family, right? If you've got to agree, I don't have any sympathy for the royal family. I really don't care about them at all. But if you're going to bring up a group of people, okay, which is in this case is the family, and then you say, oh yeah, one of them was racist to me once, and then you don't say which one, or don't even give a hint at which one it is. Piers did make a kind of valid point where he was just like, well, it could be anyone, and you know, imagine the how it looks to people outside our country towards the royal family. The only difference there is that I don't care about how that looks. I think it's funny. And to be honest, I kind of believe that they're all pretty racist for a very long time. I have watched the interview. And I have to say, she did have some lovely things to say about other members of the royal family.
I
like
haven't
the
watched
Queen
the interview yet, and I will do at some point.
Yeah. But like the Queen and such, she has good things to say about them. So there's a couple of people it could be that make the racist remarks. I don't think it matters. I think at the end of the day, the thing that matters is that she did receive these racist remarks from someone in the family. And the key point of it was that, especially the kids that are going to be growing up in that royal family now, that even the next generation after this generation even, are going to be even more trapped in this place and unable to get help of any kind, which is the thing that Meghan wanted to leave the royal family for, is because she couldn't get any support mental health wise at all, and she just wanted to die, which is honestly really horrific.
And I don't think that Piers Morgan should ever be given a platform again.
No, I don't. I think he's terrible human
He's
being.
just a very hateful man, but he definitely touched a nerve with millions, well, at least 41,000 people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
he touched the nerve. He is a cunt. We know this, but I'm glad he's not on a platform. I imagine because it's kind of the only thing that he can do. He will be on a platform again, somewhere, somehow. Maybe he'll start a podcast. Who knows? But he's gonna need something to make an income, obviously, because it's just who he is, and you can't get the guy to shut up. So I feel like he is gonna make some kind of thing where he can still be abusive, but hopefully it will be in a way that's more easily ignored than him having a morning talk.
I hope he just does what bloody Joe Rogan does, starts a podcast that nobody will listen to, and is a hateful bigot in his own home in front of a camera.
Yeah.
So, and we don't have to listen to it, basically. He can be a hateful bigot as long as he's miles away from me and is doing it to an audience of himself. Because
I always wonder is how people that make really bad, like, racist or whatever remarks on podcasts and things, how they get outraged in the first place, because surely the only people watching that are people that care about what he's saying.
Yeah. I don't...
But then if those people care about what he's saying, they wouldn't be outraged about it because they'd probably be racist as well. So how do these things get broadcast so widely when they say something just so outrageous?
Yeah.
Maybe someone's friends with one of these racist people on Facebook or something, just in a broad sense, and they post a clip of it and or retweet something or whatever, and then someone can see that and be like,
or
this is a
people like
person
me
being racist on my feed.
Occasionally hate watch these things.
I don't think I've ever hate watched anything.
Sometimes,
actually no, I hate watched the interview with Meghan Markle, not because I hate Meghan Markle, but because I hated myself for giving a shit about anything to do with the royal family for the first time. But I think that my justification there is they're no longer part of the royal family. Sorry, what you saying?
I haven't watched it yet, and I think I might watch it tonight. Not because I care about Prince Harry or Meghan, but because I am so vocal about mental health and the need to speak out about it. And it's such a big thing that's going on at the moment. To do.
I mean, it's been going on for a number of years. We've just had
more. I mean, at the moment, like in this moment, it's getting people talking about mental health again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And that's why I want to watch it, really. And
it's very good in terms of that. I just think if you're gonna call someone out, you need to name the person you're calling out, because it's a very if this was a conversation that I was having with my friends, right? And if I had a female friend who came to me and was just like, oh, someone in this friend group over here was incredibly sexist towards me, I don't want to know who, so I can shame that person, or I can just cut ties with that person, or I can know that I'm never going to interact with that person again. Obviously, I'm not going to interact with anyone from the royal family, and I don't care that they exist.
You're just going to pop
it means
down
that
to Buckingham Palace for a brew with Queen Elizabeth next week, are you?
Yeah, no, obviously, like, that part of the analogy doesn't work. But I mean, in terms of, like, in terms of the royal family, you cut them off, you cut them out. Like, look what they did to Prince Andrew. Like, he's no longer any part of the royal family, really. Yeah. Like, the Queen's cut him out, cut him off,
and
which is the best thing that she could do, honestly.
What is quite sad as well is that Harry has lost all of his family. Like, he
hasn't. I don't think he has, like, and I don't think he will.
He still talks to his dad on Zoom.
And his grandmother.
And his grandmother.
That's something I found very interesting about that interview, was the fact that they did refer, like, because you struggle sometimes to see these people as anything other than the royal family, which in my mind is not something I'm proud of to have as part of my country. and not something I really give a fuck about. But they're there, and you see them as the royal family, and that's
Yeah.
the whole thing. But I think the pressure of seeing them as the royal family is kind of what's causing, especially Meghan's side of things, as an outsider to both the country and to the family in the first place, coming in. She struggled very hard, and I can definitely see why.
Definitely.
It's a whole other thing, because she made a point in the interview. Sorry, go on. I'll make my point after.
Yeah, I struggle to think. I am very anti-royal as a person, and I struggle to think of Prince Harry as someone other than the guy who who dressed up as Hitler for that party when he was 18. Like, in my head, when I think of Prince Harry,
I don't know anything about that.
That's the first thing I go to. Beans on Toast wrote a song about it called Harry's in a Helicopter, and it's about when Prince Harry was in the army, and so being the story of the song is that Harry is in the army, which he was at the time, and views shooting at people as a video game because he was so young. And I struggle to think that if maybe not one of my mates, like, I don't know how to word it, but if a young celebrity dressed up as a Nazi for a party, being from such a sheltered family, because he won't go to the schools that we go to, they won't have the same education, they won't be taught anything about world wars. We forget that he might not have known who Hitler was and the extent of what Hitler did when he was that age. I struggle to view him as anything other than this monster created by the royal family, when in reality he is a victim of them, because he was paraded.
I feel like, and this point was made in the interview. They are victims of the institution that they created. Now, because they're useless. They're tourism fodder. That's the purpose.
But they
of the
don't
royal
even
family.
bring in any
like
tourism.
Americans think that the royal family, maybe they make laws, or they have to sign off on things, or nothing can move in the country without their say so. All of that's bollocks. None of that's true. The truth of the matter is they are here and they are tourism. That's the whole thing. They are pleasantries, they are tourism, they are let's meet with world leaders for tea and cake and pretend that everything's okay in the world. That's what they represent. And I think they created their government so that they didn't have to think about the laws of the country. Like, this is way back, a very, very long time ago, like 200-300 years. They created their government to be like, we want to sit back and relax and enjoy our wealth, right? And now you've got now, like a couple of hundred years later, they're completely powerless to do anything in their country, or to leave their house, really, or to be outside of their family, or to interact in normal human ways, because that institution they created around themselves to protect themselves is now actively working against them in the name of protecting them. Meghan Markle couldn't go and get mental health help when she wanted to kill herself, because she was part of the royal family, and any psychologist who spoke to her would become aware of how fucked up the institution is, and that could be dangerous towards the institution. Like, obviously, you've got patient therapist privilege and all that, but there's no way that the institution can guarantee that safety for them. And it's about safety for them. They're protecting the royal family from themselves now, and it's dangerous. And I fear for the kids. I fear, if I imagine if I was around in the time of Diana, I would have feared for Harry at the time, and I would have been
Yeah.
right to,
Like,
because he wouldn't have left if it wasn't for Meghan Markle. He would still be in exactly the same situation. And to be honest, if him and Meghan hadn't gotten out of that situation, Meghan would probably be dead now. So it would have been, as Harry said in the interview, history repeating itself
Yeah.
again.
exactly.
Where it's another it's another princess of the royal family who just tragically dies or is murdered. In
Yeah,
Diana's
I was
case.
thinking about this the other day because I've got one of my best friends is American,
Yes.
and she had actually sent me recordings of the interview as it was airing in America, because she's very, I don't want to say into the royals, but you know what I mean. She's very involved in what the royals do because that's what Americans are like.
Is it?
And until I explained to her that the royal family aren't really that much of a big thing over here. We don't worship the Queen, and we don't.
I mean, some people do.
And some people do, and we don't.
But the majority don't. No.
And they don't do anything. But it's wildly recognised that Princess Diana was a good person. Like,
yes.
in the entire world, like, it's wildly recognised that she was a good person. I tend to think of all of the royal family as bad, but when you think about Harry as a child, which he was when his mother mysteriously died,
Yeah.
that, like, I don't know, it proper sheds a light that I've never thought about, because I never think of them as people. I think of them as personalities, is the best way to put it.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, is over in America, I feel like Hollywood celebrities are the equivalent of the royal family here.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? I made the comment when I was watching the interview that Meghan Markle does look unnervingly like Jennifer Lawrence in The Hunger Games. And Casper pointed out to me at the time that she used to be an actress before.
She did.
And then she went on in the interview to talk about how her acting and how she was a celebrity over in America. And she did say that when she went over to Britain and married Harry and all of and got involved in the family, she entered that thinking, oh, these are my people. These are celebrities. These are the same. This is the same thing. This is exactly the same thing. But it's not, because it's the Queen and it's the family and it's the princes. It is all of these that run this shitty little country that is so insecure in itself that it thought, why not steal a bunch of culture from other places? And I just thought that was very interesting, because she's an outsider, and it's no wonder it made her want to die after a while, because she just came into it like from such an outside perspective that just.
Would very much like to know whether the royal family pressured her into giving up her job.
I do not doubt it.
They always refer to the royals as working royals, which means they're paid to be royal. I mean, she did give up her job for it. Ever working royals?
They were.
But
they were.
Oh, they were.
Because because they left for Canada. This is all stuff I learned last night whilst I was watching this interview. They left. They went to Canada.
Is that where they live now?
I think they live in Canada now. I'm not too sure. But they left. They moved to Canada, staying with a friend, or staying at a friend's house.
Yeah.
And because they wanted to get away from it all, and they wanted to be part-time working royals.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to still lend their support to the Queen. That whole thing, because it's family, right? That's the whole thing. They didn't want to separate completely. Whilst they were out there, they were then told by the institution that they were going to have their security detail removed. At a time
Which
when
is
they
dangerous.
just moved, everybody knew exactly where they were. They had a child with them, and all of a sudden, the royal family announced, "You no longer have security publicly to the world. These guys
Yeah.
aren't protected." Right?
Like,
And then, and fortunately, they got their own security, and they did all that, and that's all fine in the end, which is great, which is fantastic. But then I think the Queen made a statement, or somebody made a statement, I can't remember, saying that they're no longer working. No, this was after Oprah's interview, actually. Just after Oprah's interview, I believe, Harry was stripped of his honorary military titles and stuff, which he knew was coming. And they are officially no longer working royals. They're no longer working members of the royal family. So they were, but they're no longer. Which, good for them, honestly.
Which,
it's
honestly,
good that they've
I hope
escaped.
that their children grow up so far away from the royal institution that they don't even know what it is, because she's pregnant with another kid, isn't she?
Yeah. And honestly, I'm quite glad. I'm sure that those kids will have at one point have the whole crisis of, I am heir to a throne somewhere.
Yeah.
But they won't have that crisis whilst they're cut off from any ability to be kids.
Yeah. Like,
they can be kids. They can have proper lives now. They can,
they can make friends at school.
They can make friends and be happy and have a good life outside of the pressure of being a royal, being a member of the royal family.
I'm sure the royal kids have a good life too, but I haven't ever seen a picture of any of the royal children not dressed up in a suit or a frilly dress, and I don't understand how they don't just dress their kid in jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah,
like,
and
those children will never be comfortable.
Yeah, and I just feel like their kids are going to be a lot happier, and I'm interested to see like what comes out of that in the future. But it's good for them
and
for getting out.
I'm excited. Prince Harry is currently making a documentary with Oprah about mental health and his work.
He is
for Mind and Young Minds as well. He's an ambassador for both of them, I think, which just means that he gets the word out about them and tells people that it's okay to get help, and occasionally is on an advert on the telly for them. So I'm quite excited to see that and what comes of that, really. It could be quite an interesting watch. Either that, or it'll be really dramatic and American, like most American documentaries.
Yeah, and I feel like it's the where Diana left off, Harry and Meghan are now free to pick up from, without the worry they're going to have a quote unquote accident.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe, by the way, I've hinted at this throughout the podcast, but I do genuinely believe that Diana was murdered. But if we get into that, I will start talking very conspiracy theory. So I don't want to get into that. But there's just too much.
About
yeah.
Princess Diana.
But let's not get into that one. The positive note to leave this story on, because we've been talking about it for half an hour now, is they are safe and their kids are safe, which is the most important. They do actually have security. They are free
to get
from
some counselling after it all.
Yes,
they can get some therapy and
have therapy. They can have a life,
as much therapy as they want,
away from all of that, which is brilliant. So good for them. In a different note, I do want to say that Pause to Play, which is a charity event that's going to be happening through April, which I think is hosted through Blue Cross. I will be taking a part in this, and it's for streaming 1,897 minutes, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm just checking. Do 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 do. Okay, I can't find the information straight away, and this is an awkward pause now. But yes, there is going to be a charity event, which is a streaming charity event, where we stream for what I believe to be 1,897 minutes in a month to try and raise money for Pause to Play Foundation, which is a charity helping animals, which I think is just fantastic, and I will be taking part in that. So.
And
that'll be happening all of April. So all of my streams in April, I'll try and set up a little donation bar either here or here or here or here or somewhere here, and it will be good. So I just wanted to make people aware that that is a thing that's happening, and that'll be my April streams. We'll have that little donation bar. So that, you know, if you do see this, if you're watching this right now, or if you're watching this in the podcast archive channel in the future, head over to twitch.tv/ZenOutgames and keep an eye out for that in April.
And on the subject of charity donations, I am currently doing something called 27 miles for the 27%, which is for Mind, which we have just spoken about. And they are doing, students can sign up to run or walk. Rather, I'm walking 27 miles in between March the 1st and March the 27th. March the 27th for the 27% of students who experience or report experiencing a mental health problem within the UK. I am currently on mile 8. Well, I've on mile 8 of 27. I'm doing quite well, actually. And, yep, I will pop a link in somewhere. I don't know where I'll put that link. But
where can they find this link? Do you want to maybe your Instagram?
Yes, I can put it on my Instagram. I do have a fundraising link at the moment.
What's your Instagram?
At Flappy Hands and Stims.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a fundraising link, but it's one of those that has to be done through a specific site, so I'll link it somewhere. But that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Good shout. Yeah. And I feel like, especially after the last year, now's a good time to try and give back. Do what you can. Donate what you can if you can. Obviously, you need to look after yourself first, but just do what you can, and because I think a lot of people need to pull together. Like, at the end of the day, fuck all this government shit. Fuck all these talk show hosts storming off and leaving nasty comments about royals' mental health struggles or whatever. Screw all that. We need to look after each other as the people.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, you know, these celebrities and these royals and these government figures that we all either love to hate or love to love, or want to be protected, they can all look after themselves. They've got the money to do that. But we need to be able to look after each other and animals as well, which is why I wanted to do the
we need to look after
Pause to Play
every
from Blue Cross.
living creature. Even if they are an ex-royal, they are just as deserving of mental health help, maybe from a charity like Mind. So we need to support
100%.
charities now more than ever, because they're all struggling to make ends meet without being able to do bake sales and fundraising and marathons and stuff. That just can't be done at the moment. So every charity is really, really struggling. But they've all put their hive minds together and come up with wonderful remote
charity
fundraising
has
ideas.
has put its collective minds
Yeah,
together
like-
to come up with these creative ideas. Yes, I love it.
Yeah, they're coming up with more and more creative ideas as the pandemic goes on, and I really hope that they continue after the pandemic is over, because I am much more likely to walk 27 miles as opposed to do a marathon with a lot of other people.
Oh, right. Switching topic completely. That's in gaming news. Microsoft has purchased Bethesda for should have this number in front of me before I start the story. $7.5 billion fucking dollars.
Well, that's a lot of money, isn't it?
Holy shit. Yeah.
That's-
Holy shit. Which, by the way, means that some probably not all, but definitely some future Bethesda games will be Xbox and PC exclusive. So the PS5 could get fucked in that regard, apparently, because Microsoft doesn't own that company, so they're probably just gonna be like, yeah, no, you don't get to play. Buy our thing.
Yeah.
Which I think very big balls competitive move from Microsoft. We've had some conversations on this podcast, right? And and as a, you know, just as a whole around the world, there have been conversations recently about monopoly. Recently.
I think that Microsoft...
How many more times does a big company need to buy another big company before, like, what's the limit before you say, actually, you have too much power?
Yeah.
And has that limit been reached already? Like, look at Disney. How many things have the Disney logo slapped on them somewhere? Because Disney just owns that. Or they own the thing that owns that. Or they own the thing that owns the thing that owns that. Or so on and so forth. They own so much right now that it's just, it's scary. And it's the same with Microsoft here. Like, and especially, like, in terms of gaming, what could that mean for the PS5? It could mean that the next Elder Scrolls game, for example, doesn't come out on PS5 at all.
Yeah.
It only comes out on Xbox, and that's a mass
exclusive.
monopoly, because then not only are you controlling the games, the production of the game, how the game looks, the feel of the game, and where the game is sold, you are then also controlling what people can play that game on.
Yeah.
And all that people can play that game on is your product, because you now own everything. And what's the limit? Where is the line for these companies? Where is the line in the sand for you're not monopolizing everything versus you are monopolizing everything, and oh my god, how did we let you have this much power in the first place?
Microsoft don't have the monopoly yet, though, because Epic Games have just bought Fall Guys.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty happy about that.
That was a nice segue. I'm quite happy about that segue.
I love it. Well done. Top marks.
But my worry about Fall Guys being bought by Epic Games.
There we go.
One is that it will become free to play after I've spent 15 quid on it, exactly the same as what happened with Rocket League, apart from I spent £45 on Rocket League.
Why would you spend £45?
I also spent £30 on it on the Switch, and it's now free to play on the Switch.
Oh.
I've bought it multiple times for multiple different consoles. I don't even enjoy that game. Yeah, I don't want that to happen with Fall Guys again. Also, another concern that I thought of the other day is that I don't want it to become a microtransaction-laden piece of shit, basically. Because part of the reason I enjoy Fall Guys is that it is possible to unlock all of the costumes by just playing it.
It's not. That's before you carry on with this story.
Apart
that's
from the ones
not true.
that
There are DLC. There are DLC packs and
Let
DLC
me rephrase
skins.
that then. It is possible to purchase everything on the store without a microtransaction apart from the DLCs.
Yes.
And the extra packs. And I really like that because games like Fortnite, for example, which is obviously owned by Epic Games, you can't get the costumes unless you spend money on it. And I am really concerned that Epic Games will turn Fall Guys into that. I'm very concerned about it. Because I want to be able to get a red panda costume for my little Tic Tac man without paying $6.99 for the red panda costume for my little Tic Tac man. Because I am sick of games making you pay for cosmetic things, because it's just unfair, especially when you've spent money on the game. But Epic Games have a habit of making things free to play.
Yes, yes they do.
As Rocket League and Fortnite, which I think Fortnite's always been free. I'm not entirely sure. I have never played it. I never will.
Sorry, I'm just looking up the minutes because I'm stuck on it now. Challenge. I want to look up if it's hours or minutes. It's got to be minutes, right?
It's got to be minutes.
1,800.
I don't even think there is 1,800 hours.
Sean sent me a link to this, I believe. Samurai Sean. He did. Fuck knows where it's gone, but he did send me a link. Right, Casper, fill for me whilst I flounder around.
Yeah, I went back to uni for the first time in person today. We were all sat in the student lounge, and I haven't seen some of my classmates in person before at all. And you never know how weird it is seeing how tall someone is when you've only ever seen the top half of the body. It's proper weird seeing
It's
their
gonna
legs.
be very strange. It's gonna be very strange
Like,
seeing old friends as well that you met in person, but then obviously you haven't spoken to in over a year. Well, not that you haven't spoken to, but you haven't seen in over a year, and then you go and you're just like, you're gonna be. It's always that fact, because it's always like you're taller / shorter than I remembered.
Yeah,
or you look different.
and
or
I
whatever,
think
people
it would
change
be
over
weird
time.
seeing children as well that you haven't seen for almost 12 months now.
Yeah, because the last image,
so strange.
the last image you have of a person that you keep in your brain is always like the person that you imagine in your head when you're talking to someone that you can't see, like over text or voice call, is the last image of them that you saw. And if you haven't seen some of these people in over a year, then that's a outdated image, and it's always a shock to the system when you see them again.
What's even more shocking than the height thing is seeing the bottom half of someone's face for the first time. Because for the past 12 months, we've only seen people with masks on. Like, I've only seen
true, yeah.
the people in my class, because we have a class of 6 now, because every class has been halved and it's the same as last term. I've only seen those people with a mask on. And one of my classmates took their mask off before, and I thought to myself, wow, I wildly underestimated what his lower half of his face will look like. His mouth doesn't look like anything I thought it would. And it's just so strange. Like, we're talking about how we all thought Mark, our tutor, would be very short, but then he walked through the door and he was 6'3".
Wow.
And we all looked at him like, oh, we were expecting you to be shorter.
Did you actually ask your tutor how tall he was in order to get that accurate?
Yeah, we asked how tall he was the second he walked through the door. Because he walked through the door, we all cheered, obviously, because we haven't met this man in person before. And he's been teaching us since September.
Mm-hmm.
And we all cheered, and then Oscar was like, "Actually, Mark, how tall are you?" And he told us, and then he was like, "Everybody stand up. I want to see how tall you are now." And obviously, I was the shortest.
Just to answer my own question from earlier, it's 1,897 minutes. Just to confirm that, it's 1,897 minutes this April, not hours. Because
even that many hours in a month.
1,897 divided by 24 is 79 days. So it's not hours. But it is 79 hours, so 79 hours out of the hours I stream next month will all be dedicated to the Pause to Play.
That
so
is
if you are...
very exciting. You could also play some animal-themed games as well.
Ooh, I have to have a think about
like
animal-themed games.
I've got some on that Humble Bundle for racial equality that you could play. Actually.
Oh yes, yeah.
There's a cat simulator, and you could also play Night in the Woods if you wanted. Cause
there's a game called Bad Rats that I own, but I don't think it'll be a very good game to play for a pets charity, because you play as rats who try and violently dismember a cat through use of various traps. So I don't think it's probably not the best not the best one to be playing for that.
There's also, I've got Octodad on the racial equality bundle, which is, it's very, very hard to play, but the main character is an animal. So
he's an octopus.
I mean, he's an Octodad. The whole premise
I need some cat themed ones as well, because I'm doing I don't know the specifics of doing this. I think Pets for Play just in general is just an animals charity, and the money will be made for all animals. But I think it asked me what kind of animal person I was, like dog, cat, etc. So I'd put cat, obviously. So just to stick to that theme, I would quite like to have some cat-specific games as well.
There is a cat simulator that came with the Humble Bundle. I think it's called... I've forgotten what it's called. Catastrophe. A Night in the Woods, the main character is a cat.
Night in the Woods would be good, yeah.
Who is best friends with a gay fox, and is... It's probably my favourite video game of all time, to be honest.
Yeah, I want to be able to, whatever it is, I'll play. I need to play for an hour, but we will have animal themed.
Have a think, and you can have a look on the bundle thing that I've got, because there'll be quite a few on there. But that will be fun. Maybe you will have the cat in the background of some videos.
Oh, I'm sure he will hate that.
Maybe if he's feeling nice, he will come and sit.
Raising money for charity for cats? How could you?
Yeah, he's like, spend all your money on me. I am the cat in your life.
Exactly. I'm just gonna have a separate donation bar, just away from the other one. It's just like, donate to my cat.
Donate today.
Donate to a bunch of cats, or donate to my cat specifically.
Yeah. He's currently asleep on my bed.
That's adorable.
I chucked him out at 6 a.m. this morning, and then went back to sleep, unfortunately. But tomorrow, I think I'm gonna, because he wakes me up at 6 a.m. Between 6 and 7 every day to go outside and be fed. Because cats are creatures of habits. They like their routines. But Dee doesn't mind. Sometimes he's fed at 7 a.m. Sometimes he's fed at 11 a.m.
Sometimes he goes out, his last going out time is at 5. Sometimes it's at 1. Yeah, he's all over the place, that cat. But
I think he's a bit of an anomaly, because he won't ask for food if he's not hungry. Although the other day he didn't have his tea because he ate an entire bag of Dreamies.
Wow.
Which he ripped up and ate.
And whose fault was that?
Mine, for leaving my sock drawer open. I keep his treats in the sock drawer.
Why do you keep his treats in the sock drawer? Yeah, at some point he's just going to start eating your socks.
Yeah, at some point he probably will.
Yes.
But he's a lovely little cat. asleep on the bed at the moment. Yeah, that's the cat update.
Speaking of cats,
of the week.
furries.
Have furries done anything?
No, I just wanted an excuse to make a really weird segue because the conversation was petering out and I don't know what to talk about next. Come on, we got 7 minutes left of the podcast, and then you can go back to sleep. What are we going to talk about for our last 7 minutes of podcast? Casper, you have the floor. What do you want to say?
I can't think of anything.
Because I'm too lazy to think of anything.
Let me check Twitter.
Should we just end the podcast? I think that's a good.
I think we should just end the conversation early today.
Yeah, the conversation's reached a natural end point. But thank you for the people who watched. Thank you for the people who messaged. Thank you for the people who may be watching in the future. Don't forget, if you are watching in the future on the archive channel, you can leave a comment, and we might bring it up in the discussion if you want to add to the discussion, because it's a discussive podcast where we discuss things, and now I've said the word discuss too much and it sounds like disgust, and it sounds really weird in my head, and now I'm thinking about how weird language is as a whole. And on that note, bye.
On that note, yep, goodbye. See you next time.